Marud, it's Arissa. I have the notebook in my apartment at the Grey House, number 1744. I'll be waiting. Okay, the Grey House is at North 8. Grey House. Okay, you find Arissa apartment room number 1744. You knock lightly a couple of times, no answer. You test the door and find it unlocked. You take a deep breath, preparing for the unexpected, and cautiously open the door. You enter cautiously, expecting interior decor somewhere along the lines of a ritualistic murder, or at least indiscriminate ransack, but instead you find the place orderly, almost eerily still. Your cursory examination finds nothing out of the ordinary except a note addressed to you. I have the girl and the notebook. If you want either, meet me at my warehouse or South 1st Street, Abu Salah. Dun dun dun. How did he know? How did he know? We will never find out. Okay, warehouse. Yes. You walk inside. The strong smell of dust chokes there. It's cold and dark, but hey, aren't most warehouses? Abu Salah is waiting for you, static pistol in hand. Behind him you see Arissa strapped into a large medieval torture machine. Riddle John, please sit down and relax. Help me enjoy my victory over Friedlander Bay, for I have the notebook, the girl, and now I have you. He pats the torture machine behind him. You're just in time to help me try out my little invention. It's a variation of the medieval rack with a number of my own additions. You see these hooks, they will tear strips of flesh off this lovely young woman. But she will not die. Even as we speak, these sharp iron stakes are being heated and will be driven through her body, in non-fatal places of course, to make her blood and glands sizzle. The coup de grace is the spring mechanism that will rip her sweet young body into pieces. Man, this is grim. After her, it will be your turn. With you and tomorrow out of the way, nothing will stop me from using the information in this notebook against Papa. Friedlander Bay lays his soul bare on these pages. He doesn't trust computers because they're so vulnerable. There are crimes recorded in this notebook so heinous that even Papa, with all his power, cannot escape conviction in the Islamic courts. Not that I intend to lose the book again, for it will be used to extort proper payment from Papa. It's too bad Kenji Carter grew greedy. He and Manny Mancuso helped me steal the notebook from Bay, and then try to sell it back to him. Finding the notebook was not easy once it left Carter's hands. The girl had it all the time, but of course I didn't know who she was. The only clue my assistant Alejandro could find was MCDIX on the answering machine. I assumed McDix was another party interested in buying the notebook. It was Alejandro's idea to paint MCDIX on the wall so that the police could flush out McDix for me. As it was, I managed to track down Mac Dixon ahead of you. Poor Mr. Dixon. Confusion about his name cost him his life, while I was torturing him and learning nothing. I saw a clock in his room with Roman numerals, and I realized that MCDX was the Roman numeral for 1409, the year of Papa's birth. It was a code between Carter and his daughter, and the combination code for the safe box where she hid the notebook. Alejandro and I also dealt with Carter's, quote, girlfriend, and Manny Mancuso. Neither had the information I needed, so both died. So much trouble over a notebook, much of it caused by you, Mr. Audran. I must see that you never interfere with me again. Goodbye, Mr. Audran. He levels a static pistol at you. Abu Salah pulls out a needle gun. But I pull out a big gun. Man, that was too easy. Abu Salah falls to the ground dead. The notebook in his possession falls from his hands as it crumbles. Marissa sobs with relief. Praise Allah, it's over. She struggles against the torture machine. Please, Marid, get me out of this thing. Think you better get yourself a horse. Okay. Get item. The notebook. As you bend down to pick up the notebook, you hear a gurgling, wheezing laugh. Shocked, you look up to see Abu Salah struggling, a small device grasped in his hand. So near he wheezes, and yet so very, very far. With his last strength, he pushes a button on the device. Suddenly the torture machine whirls to life. You hear an electronic beep as the countdown begins. Ursa screams horrified. Her struggles grow panicked, desperate. Marud, she cries, the key! He mentioned a black key. It's the only way to disarm this. You've got to find it. Great! You see a switchblade. 59 minutes until death. Oh great, so I've got an hour. Wow, it's a slow machine. 58 minutes until death. Great. Hold on a sec. Okay, let's get to the rug shop. Don't have much time. North 7. Look. Room is dimly lit. Behind a curtain you find a hidden back room where the proprietor keeps some interesting items, atypical of small merchant trappings, like the numerous pictures of medieval torture scenes. You find some notes on the darker sides of various people in Budayeen. You discover the name MacDix crossed off with the numbers 1409 over the deletion. Stored with the torture scenes is a large black key. Great. Get me the black key. You pick up the black key. Okay. 30 minutes. I think it took me 20 minutes to get you. Yeah, I'll be fine. She struggles against the machine with a strength born of desperation to no avail. The bindings have held her fast. Crying, she screams at you, "Hurry, get me out of here!" Inventory, black key, use it. Racing over the machine, you see the timer closing on 0. "Hurry," Arissa cries. You don't answer. You're too busy fumbling with the black key. You put it into the keyhole and turn. Slick. The timer stops and Arissa's restraints click open. She collapses into your arms, crying with relief. Sobbing, she thanks you for saving her from heinous torture and certain death. "I am forever in your debt, my little John." After a couple more sniffles, she suggests that the two of you get together later on when she can properly show appreciation. You muse over the possibilities after she leaves. Cool! So, we have the notebook. The black leather-bound notebook has a small snap that keeps it closed. On the front is an ornate gold seal with the name Freelander Bay embossed beneath it. Etched in the leather are the words, "Born from the ashes." Maybe we should go visit Papa. See what he says. Bull, please take me to Freelander Bays. Yusuf, Papa's butler, meets you at the door and escorts you to Papa's waiting room. For the 700th time, you study the minute cracks in the antechamber ceiling. Talk to Papa. Fondling the coveted notebook in his hands, Papa tells you, "I am most pleased, my nephew. Not only did you retrieve the notebook from that son of a camel, Abu Salah, but you managed to keep Tamara Carter alive, so that I may question her about the conspiracy against me. You have done more than I had hoped, my nephew. There is a promising future for you in my organization. Come, you will dine with me now. Despite your misgivings, you are forced to take part in the lavish feast Papa orders. But thinking of Tamara Carter and the questioning Papa plans for her spoils your appetite. You keep telling yourself that Tamara knew the score, that you should have known better, that to conspire against Papa, sounds especially convincing sitting on his right hand as he tells you about his future plans for you. But you rouse some nausea that both Kenji Carter and Abu Salah once sat at the right hand of Papa. If Allah wills, you will be a little smarter than they were. That's life in the Budayeen. Business is business, action is action, and for now you're still around to know the difference. Inshallah. Wow, to Police Lieutenant Hajar, Law Enforcement Supervisor, Budayeen, from Robert L. Jennings, Project Director, Security Division. We, the resolution of the Abu Salah affair. Remarks. Despite your repeated assurance that, quote, nothing of consequence was happening in the district, end quote, another series of grisly murders has occurred in Budayeen right under your nose. Or weren't you paying attention, Hajar? That we once more have had to rely on the, quote, services of this Murido John in terminating the madman, Abu Salah, has caused the division and myself considerable embarrassment. I could almost swear you are trying to undermine my efforts to curb the excesses of the Budayeen. Something must be done, or John must be neutralized. Until now, I have resisted the suggestion that we clasp John to our bosom and enroll him as a police officer. I never believed John would want to be a policeman voluntarily, but now I've been convinced otherwise. Sign him up, Hajar, give him a desk job, hide him in some out-of-the-way cubicle, and bury him with paperwork. I understand that John has been removed from his apartment and is now living in the palace of Freelander Bay. This is wonderful news. Now he's just where I want him. I expect to learn much of Bay's operations from Hodran. Send me regular reports, Hajar, of anything Hodran reveals. And Hajar, should you wish to assign Hodran to street patrol once in a while, you have my permission. Of course, you wouldn't want to assign to anything too dangerous, but we both know that certain assignments can be lethal. As your people are so fond of saying, Inshallah. The Adventures of Meridian will continue in A Fire in the Sun by George Alec Effinger.